All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Who's Next with NXT, presented by the We Book It Podcast Network. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys for tuning in to this episode. You guys have to forgive me. I'm a little exhausted. I just did Cubs Central, and the Cubs have lost 8 of their last 11, and I am not okay right now. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, but at the same time, you got to have 2 TVs going because you got to be catching everything that's going on in NXT, guys. If you're not watching NXT, then you are not invested in the future of wrestling, guys, because this is the future of wrestling right here on NXT. But anyways, I'm here to talk to you guys about NXT, not about the Chicago Cubs. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss anything we got going on over here on the We Book It Network. Now, with that being said, the May 19th edition of WWE NXT promised a wild show, including multiple major championship matches. That's right. Tatum Paxley defended the Women's North American Championship against Lizzie Rain. Deion Lennox and Saquon Sugars hope to bring back the NXT Tag Team Championships to Darkstate. Tony D'Angelo and Myles Bourne teamed up against potential title contenders in Mason Rook and Cam Hendricks. Tay Wilder collided with Keanu Carver also in this one. So this night of NXT was set to be foundationally good, setting up our next feuds that are coming in the coming weeks. Also, don't forget, you'll see Evil in this version of NXT also. Now, with that being said, first match, Tony D'Angelo and Myles Bourne versus Mason Rook and Cam Hendricks. So, while Rook and D'Angelo collided confidently in explosive exchanges, a strong chop block from Hendricks behind the referee's back allowed Rook and Hendricks to isolate and wear down Myles Bourne. When D'Angelo got back, got the hot tag and got back in, he was rolling until Rook dived onto him with a running senton. Bourne tagged back in, followed by a massive brawl. Tavion Heights tried to help Bourne, but accidentally bumped into him. This set up Rook for a corner Death Valley driver, followed by a fireman's carry power slam. Hendricks got the blind tag and stole the pin from Rook. So, while Rook was struggled to fully stand out on the mic, he was the star of this match. He is explosive and electric in the ring, making most of his size, whether he's running, diving, or dropping his opponents. He and D'Angelo instantly sold their coming battle for the NXT Championship as a future premium live event main event. Hendricks struggled in comparison to stand out, often delivering far too basic offense opposite 2 of NXT's best right now. Still, NXT finally found a great booking spot for him, stealing the thunder from the already popular Rook and pinning the North American champion, which was also huge because he's probably going to be the one fighting for that championship. While NXT has tried to sell Hendricks as a dangerous, explosive heel, his entrance theme is too corny for the presentation. The crowd only wanted to see Rook working on the heel side, playing out his full champ when he got his first tag in to fight D'Angelo. Next up, we got Lola Vice agreeing to defend against Izzy Dame, and Ren Sinclair lays out Kaylani Jordan. So Kaylani questioned what she needed to do to get an NXT Women's Championship match opportunity. Izzy Dame interrupted to make her own case for a title shot, which brought out Lola Vice. The champion agreed to defend her title against Dame next week before Kendall Gray arrived. She distracted Lonnie for an attack by Ren Sinclair with her crutch. Why does NXT insist on this interruption promo segments? They never go well for anyone, and they often make one or more of the competitors look bad. In this case, Jordan stumbled through her solo promo time, and she and Izzy got nowhere with the bickering. Vice also struggled to deliver confident mic work in this one. Ladies, 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 promo class, promo class, promo class. You got to be a communicator, baby, in the words of that man Dusty Rhodes. But anyways, after all this build up, throwing Vice versus Dame into a one-on-one title match for a random TV episode next week is bizarre. The Great American Bash is not until July, so we'll see what happens there. The plan may be to build up a multi-woman match for the next PLE. Backstage, Sean Legacy told Dorian Van Doo that they will fight in the speed tournament next week. So another speed tournament coming again for that beautiful speed championship that Big Daddy C loves so much. Later, Izzy argued with Sean Spears after he advised he got a hot tag match with Nico Vance against OTM next week, distracting her from her title match. Next up, we got Tristan Angels versus Romeo Marino. I'm gonna tell you guys something. You know what? You know what I noticed? NXT probably has the most actual wrestling matches out of any show on cable television right now. Like, you know, AEW does pretty good with matches too, but majority of the time spent in NXT is on matches. Like, you may get a promo battle here or there, but like a majority of the stuff is all matches. And I actually really appreciate that because I feel like Raw and SmackDown have just succumbed to pretty much promos, in-back stuff, video boards, and then freaking, commercial breaks. It's pretty much all you're going to see when you watch Monday Night Raw or you watch Friday Night SmackDown. So I actually appreciate the fact that you're getting 5 matches in a 2-hour time span on NXT. And remember, Raw has no time limit, and SmackDown is 3 hours still for right now. So there's no reason why you couldn't have the same amount of matches, maybe even more matches. Just getting more TV time and exposure to people who really need it. This was the debut match for both Tristan Angels and Romeo Marino. These two men did previously fight in Evolve on April 8th, where Angels defeated Marino. So Romeo fought hard against the debuting Cocky Angels, helped by the distraction of Shiloh Hill in the crowd. However, Mr. England would not be denied in his debut match, sealing the victory with a rock dropper. Afterward, Angels mocked Hill, who responded by declaring his plan to become Mr. NXT. This match in itself, y'all, was very, very, very competitive, despite barely going over 5 minutes. Romeo actually looked better than Angels in terms of pure in-ring action. Both men, though, showed why NXT is relying upon them as Evolve call-ups. Angels' feud with Hill has potential, though their interaction after the match was bizarre, amateur theater that would not work outside of developmental. So we'll just see what happens from there. But next up, we have the North American Championship, Women's Championship. It's going to be Tatum Paxley versus Lizzie Rain. So this was a wild, high-energy contest where the crowd was behind both champion and challenger. Both Rain started to wear down Paxley with her machine gun chops and Samoan drop for a near fall. Tatum caught Rain diving, then went for the cemetery drive, but the champ countered with a headbutt. The two women exchanged near fall pin attempts before Paxley transitioned into the cemetery drive for the win. Afterwards, Zarya arrived to lay out both women and stand tall again with the women's NXT North American Championship. This was a fantastic match, delivering great pure in-ring action. This stands amongst Paxley's best matches this year and instantly elevated Rain despite the loss. So, guys, you had to know that Rain wasn't going to win the championship on her first opportunity. I know everybody likes her. I know everybody wants her to be the next Sol Ruka in NXT and do all these major things that she probably will end up doing. However, we have to pump the brakes, let her grow. It's going to have to happen. But it does feel like that NXT Women's North American Championship is all for Zarya. I think that's her title that she's going to hold next. So the men's and women's NXT North American Championships congregated backstage in a fun acknowledgement of their shared championship struggles. Afterwards, Naruku arrived to make clear Tony D'Angelo needed to watch out. Kelly Armstrong was shown watching Luke closely backstage, indicating she is also in line for a future title shot. She is likely next after Zarya. Next up, we got Keanu Carver versus Tate Wilder. So Carver started this match hard hitting, wearing down Wilder, but Wilder found his openings to fight back. He laid out Carver with a tornado DDT on the floor, followed by a frog splash, but chose not to go for the cover, which is really stupid. When he went for a moonsault, Carver knocked him down with a pounce, followed by a take a buck for the victory. This was a solid extended squash while Wilder got the hot sequence near the end. This was all Carver, otherwise as it should be. He remains the most interesting rising star in all of NXT and should be in line for gold somewhere here down the line. Mason Bourne, watch your back. He's coming for that North American Championship here real soon. All right, so Mason Rook lays out Cam Hendricks. So Cam Hendricks in the ring called this shot not for Myles Bourne North American Championship, but instead Tony D'Angelo's NXT Championship. Mason Rook arrived to question Hendricks' attitude. When Hendricks refused to give Rook credit, the big man laid him out with a corner Death Valley driver. They got Mason Rook everywhere, huh? This feels like a post-match to the opener NXT should have run right after the match finished. Instead, it was delayed just before the main event, losing some of its steam. Now, had this happened right after the match, it probably would have made a lot more sense and probably really been cool. But, NXT's learning. Next up, it's time for our main event. That's right. It's the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Vanity Project going up against Darkstate. So, after Darkstate started this match off with a fast-paced brawl, Baylor and Smoke slowed the pace and managed to isolate Sugars. When Lennox got the hot tag, he began to push the pace, driving Darkstate to a near fall after a sit-out suplex. Lennox hit a spine buster followed by a blind tag, Sugars diving elbow drop for a near fall. Darkstate began to argue, allowing Smokes to catch him with the inside cradle for the win. Afterward, Griffin and James laid out Sugars, and Lennox followed their lead. Together, they triple powerbombed the former Darkstate star through the announce table. This was an over-the-top match that occasionally missed the mark due to the wild ambition of all four young competitors. But the end result was still fun. In particular, Sugars and Lennox were trying their best to play explosive baby faces and certainly had the crowd invested in them. This led to some fun sequences that could have set up a title change, but the babyface Darkstate is not yet here. Instead, it looks like the plan is for Sugars to turn face while Darkstate tries to sell themselves as better down without the weak link. So we'll see. Sugars might just end up breaking out and becoming the biggest star out of all of them. We'll just have to see what happens with that. But listen, that is your episode of Who's Next in NXT. I would rate this show probably a good B+. This was a lot of wrestling, a lot of good wrestling action. I enjoyed it. I felt like they did a lot of good work in this match. And again, it was just fun wrestling to watch and to view. So, guys, make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss anything that we have going on over here on the We Book It Network. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, my name is Virgil. Peace.